Sometimes the people we save end up saving us. This is the story of a man who gave a stranger shelter and uncovered a past that could destroy them both. But first, make sure you subscribe to my channel for more unforgettable African dramas, because what you're about to see will stay with you long after it ends. The rain was falling hard on the dusty streets of Lagos when Kwame's black Mercedes hit something in the darkness. The sound of breaking glass and a woman's scream cut through the night like a knife. Kwame jumped out of his car, his heart pounding. On the wet road lay a young woman, her body twisted in pain. Blood was running from her head, and her clothes were torn and dirty. "My God, what have I done?" Kwame whispered, kneeling beside her. The woman's eyes opened slowly. She was beautiful, even covered in blood and mud. "Please, help me," she whispered before closing her eyes again. Kwame didn't think twice. He lifted her into his car and drove to the best hospital in the city. Money was no problem for him. He owned 3 companies and had more wealth than most people could dream of. At the hospital, the doctors worked on the woman for hours. Kwame waited outside, smoking cigarette after cigarette, feeling sick with worry. "Sir, she will live," the doctor finally said. "But she has a broken arm, 3 broken ribs, and a serious head injury. She needs to stay here for 2 weeks." "I will pay for everything," Kwame said immediately. "Give her the best room, the best care." "Sir, do you know this woman?" the doctor asked. Kwame looked through the window at the unconscious woman. "No, but I almost killed her. Now I must save her." When the woman woke up 3 days later, she couldn't remember her name or where she came from. The head injury had damaged her memory. I can't remember anything," she said, tears rolling down her face. "Who am I? Where is my family?" Kwame felt his heart break. This beautiful woman was completely alone in the world, with no memory and no one to care for her. "Don't worry," he said gently. "I will help you remember. And until then, I will take care of you." The nurses called her Amma because she reminded them of someone they once knew. Kwame visited her every day, bringing flowers and books. He watched her struggle to remember her past, and slowly he began to fall in love with her. "Why are you being so kind to me?" Amma asked one day. "You don't even know who I am." "Because you deserve kindness," Kwame replied. "And because I think I'm falling in love with you." Amma's face turned red. "But I could be anyone. I could be married, or have children, or be a criminal. You don't know." "I know your heart," Kwame said. "I see how you treat the nurses, how you worry about other patients. You are a good person, Amma." Kwame had a sister named Ajoa who was jealous and greedy. She lived in a big house in the rich part of Lagos, but she always wanted more money and power. When Ajoa heard about Amma, she became furious. "Brother, you are making a fool of yourself over some street woman," she said angrily. "What if she's just pretending to have lost her memory to trick you?" "She's not pretending," Kwame said. "The doctors confirmed her brain injury." "Then she's even more useless," Ajoa said coldly. "A woman with no memory, no family, no money. She will ruin our family's reputation." Ajoa had a plan. She wanted Kwame to marry her friend Efua, a rich woman who owned several businesses. If they married, Ajoa would get a share of Efua's wealth. "Efua is perfect for you," Ajoa said. "She's beautiful, rich, and from a good family. Not like this damaged woman you found on the street." "I don't love Efua," Kwame said firmly. "I love Amma." "Then you are a fool," Ajoa said, "but I will not let you destroy our family's honor." Ajoa hired a private detective to find out about Amma's past. She was determined to find something terrible that would make Kwame stop loving her. The detective searched for weeks. Finally, he found something that made Ajoa smile with evil satisfaction. "I found out who she is," the detective said. "Her real name is Amara Johnson. She was married to a rich man in Abuja, but she ran away with his money and his best friend. The husband died in a car accident while chasing them. She's a murderer and a thief. Ajoa's heart filled with joy. This was perfect. She would destroy Amma and get her brother back. But the detective was lying. Ajoa had paid him extra money to make up a false story. The truth was that Amma had been an orphan working as a teacher in a small village before the accident. 1 month after the accident, Kwame brought Amma to his house. She was still recovering, and he wanted to take care of her personally. "This is your home now," he said, showing her the beautiful rooms and gardens. Amma cried with happiness. "I can't believe someone could be so kind to me." They lived together peacefully for 2 months. Kwame's love for Amma grew stronger every day. He decided to ask her to marry him. But Ajoa was waiting for the perfect moment to destroy everything. On the night before Kwame planned to propose, Ajoa invited herself to dinner. She brought Efua and the fake detective with her. "Kwame, I have something very important to tell you about your girlfriend," Ajoa said with a false smile. "What is it?" Kwame asked. "Tell him," Ajoa said to the detective. The detective looked at Amma and said, "This woman is not who you think she is. Her name is Amara Johnson. She was married to a rich man, but she stole his money and ran away with his best friend. Her husband died trying to catch them. She's a thief and a murderer." Amma's face went white. "No, that's not true. I don't remember my past, but I know I'm not a bad person." "Of course you would deny it," Efua said cruelly. "Criminals always lie." Kwame looked at Amma, his heart breaking. "Is this true?" I don't know," Amma said, tears streaming down her face. "I can't remember anything, but I know I would never hurt anyone." "You see?" Ajoa said triumphantly. "She can't even deny it. Brother, this woman has fooled you completely." Kwame was torn between his love for Amma and his doubt about her past. His heart said she was innocent, but his mind was confused by the lies. "I need time to think," he said quietly. "There's nothing to think about," Ajoa said. "She must leave this house immediately." "No," Kwame said. "She's still recovering. She can stay, but—" He looked at Amma with pain in his eyes. "We need to keep our distance until we know the truth." Amma felt her heart shatter into 1,000,000 pieces. "You don't trust me." "I want to trust you," Kwame said, "but I need proof of your innocence." That night, Amma packed her few belongings and left the house. She couldn't bear to stay where she wasn't trusted. Amma found herself alone on the dangerous streets of Lagos. With no memory of her past and no skills she could remember, she struggled to survive. She slept in doorways and begged for food. Her injuries were still healing, and she was weak and sick. One day, a kind old woman named Mama Kemi found her collapsed in front of a church. "Child, what happened to you?" Mama Kemi asked, helping Amma to her feet. "I lost everything," Amma said weakly. "I lost my memory, my home, and the man I loved." Mama Kemi took Amma to her small house and gave her food and shelter. "Tell me your story, child," Mama Kemi said. Amma told her everything: the accident, losing her memory, falling in love with Kwame, and the terrible accusations. "And do you believe these accusations are true?" Mama Kemi asked. "I don't know," Amma said. "I can't remember anything, but my heart tells me I'm not a bad person." "Then trust your heart," Mama Kemi said. "God knows the truth even if people don't." Meanwhile, Kwame was miserable. He couldn't eat, couldn't sleep, and couldn't focus on his work. Every day he thought about Amma and wondered if he had made a terrible mistake. "You did the right thing," Ajoa kept telling him. "Now you can marry Efua and be happy." But Kwame wasn't happy. He felt empty inside. One night, he couldn't take it anymore. He went looking for Amma, searching every street and shelter in Lagos. When he finally found her at Mama Kemi's house, he was shocked. Amma was thin and sick, her beautiful face hollow with hunger and sadness. "Amma," he said, falling to his knees, "what have I done to you?" "You believed the lies," Amma said quietly. "You chose to trust strangers over the woman you claimed to love." "I was confused," Kwame said. "I didn't know what to believe." "You should have believed in me," Amma said. "If you truly loved me, you would have known I could never hurt anyone." Kwame couldn't live with his guilt. He hired his own detective to find out the real truth about Amma's past. This detective was honest and thorough. He searched for weeks and finally found the truth. "Sir, I have good news," the detective said. "This woman is completely innocent. Her real name is Amara Okafor. She was a teacher in a small village called Ibadan. She had no husband, no criminal record, nothing bad at all. She was known for helping orphaned children and was loved by everyone in her village." Kwame felt relief and anger at the same time. "Then why did my sister's detective lie?" "Because your sister paid him to lie," the detective said. "She wanted to destroy this woman so you would marry her friend Efua." Kwame's heart filled with rage. His own sister had destroyed his happiness and nearly killed an innocent woman with her lies. Kwame stormed into Ajoa's house with the evidence of her lies. "How could you do this to me?" he shouted. "How could you destroy an innocent woman's life?" Ajoa's face went pale. I was trying to protect you." "Protect me? You nearly killed the woman I love with your lies and greed." "She's nobody," Ajoa screamed. "You are rich and powerful. You should marry someone from our class." "Amma is worth more than 1,000 women like you," Kwame said. "She has a good heart, which is something you'll never have." "If you choose her over family, you will regret it forever," Ajoa threatened. "I already regret listening to you," Kwame said. "You are no longer my sister. Never contact me again." Kwame returned to Mama Kemi's house, but Amma was gone. "Where is she?" he asked desperately. "She left yesterday," Mama Kemi said. "She said she needed to find herself and remember who she really is." "Did she say where she was going?" "Back to her village. Her memory is slowly returning, and she remembered the name of her hometown, Ibadan." Kwame drove for hours to reach Ibadan. When he arrived, he found Amma at the village school, surrounded by children who remembered their beloved teacher. "Amma!" he called out. She turned, and he saw that her memory had returned. Her eyes were full of sadness and wisdom. "I remember everything now," she said. "I remember who I am, and I remember what you did to me." "I was wrong," Kwame said, tears in his eyes. "I was stupid and weak. I let my sister's lies poison my heart against you." "You hurt me deeper than any physical injury," Amma said. "You made me doubt myself when I was most vulnerable." "I know, and I will spend the rest of my life making up for it," Kwame said. "Please, give me another chance." Amma looked at Kwame for a long moment. "If you want me to forgive you, you must prove that you've changed." "Anything," Kwame said. "I'll do anything." "Give up your wealth," Amma said. "Come live here in the village with me. Work as a teacher and help these children. Show me that you love me more than money and status." Kwame was shocked. Give up everything he had worked for? His companies, his house, his comfortable life? I need time to think," he said. "That's what I thought," Amma said sadly. "You haven't changed at all. You still value money more than love." Kwame left the village with a heavy heart. For weeks, he struggled with Amma's challenge. Could he really give up everything for love? Finally, Kwame made his decision. He sold his companies and gave most of his money to charity. He kept only enough to live simply and help the village school. He returned to Ibadan with a small bag of belongings and a heart full of hope. "I did it," he told Amma. "I gave up everything. Now I want to spend my life helping these children and proving my love to you." Amma was amazed. "You really did it?" "Money means nothing without you," Kwame said. "I learned that a rich man with no love is poorer than a beggar with a kind heart." "And what about your sister?" Amma asked. "She is no longer part of my life," Kwame said. "She chose greed over family. I choose love over wealth." Amma and Kwame were married in a simple ceremony in the village church. The children they taught were their wedding guests, and Mama Kemi was like a mother to them both. "I forgive you," Amma said as they exchanged vows, "but I will never forget how you hurt me. This will make our love stronger and more honest." "I promise to never doubt you again," Kwame said, "and to never let anyone come between us." They worked together at the village school, teaching children and helping families. Kwame discovered that this simple life gave him more happiness than all his wealth ever had. Meanwhile, Ajoa's life fell apart. When people learned about her lies, they stopped trusting her. Her business partners left her, and even Afua turned against her. "You destroyed your own brother's happiness for nothing," Afua said angrily. "I could never marry a man whose sister is so evil." Ajoa lost her businesses and her house. She ended up alone and poor, with no one to help her. One day she came to the village, begging Kwame for forgiveness. "Brother, I was wrong," she said, falling at his feet. "I lost everything. Please forgive me." Kwame looked at his sister with sadness. "I forgive you, but I cannot trust you again. You must earn that trust back through good actions, not just words." "What should I do?" Ajoa asked desperately. "Start by telling the truth to everyone you lied to," Kwame said. "Apologize to Amma. Help the poor instead of trying to get rich. Maybe then God will forgive you." Ajoa slowly began to change. She worked hard to make up for her lies. She helped build new classrooms for the village school and took care of sick children. After 2 years of good behavior, Amma finally spoke to her. "I see you are trying to change," Amma said. "That takes courage." "I was jealous of you," Ajoa admitted. "You had my brother's love without money or status. I couldn't understand that love is more valuable than wealth." "Love is the only thing that lasts forever," Amma said. "Money can disappear, but true love grows stronger with time." 5 years after their marriage, Amma gave birth to twins, a boy and a girl. They named them Kemi and Kofi, after Mama Kemi and Kwame's father. "Look what our love has created," Kwame said, holding his children. "These beautiful souls exist because we learn to forgive and trust again. They will grow up knowing that love is more important than money," Amma said, "and they will never judge people by their wealth or status." The village celebrated the birth of the twins. Everyone loved Kwame and Amma because they had given up their comfortable life to help others. Years passed, and the village school became famous throughout Nigeria. Students from the school won scholarships to universities and became doctors, teachers, and engineers. Kwame and Amma grew old together, their love stronger than ever. They had faced the worst challenges: betrayal, lies, poverty, and heartbreak, but they had survived everything together. "Do you ever miss your old life?" Amma asked Kwame one evening as they watched the sunset. "Never," Kwame said. "That life was full of things, but empty of meaning. This life is full of love and purpose. Even when we struggled and went hungry? Especially then," Kwame said. "Those hard times taught us what really matters." When Kwame was 65 years old, he became very sick. The doctor said he needed expensive treatment in London, but he had no money left. "Use the children's school fund," Amma said. "Your life is more important." "No," Kwame said weakly. "Those children need that money for their education. I won't take their future away." Amma was heartbroken. She couldn't save her husband without destroying the dreams of hundreds of children. Then, something miraculous happened. The students that Kwame and Amma had taught over the years heard about their teacher's illness. They came together and collected money for his treatment. "Teacher Kwame saved our lives by giving us education," one former student said. "Now we will save his life." Kwame recovered and lived many more years with Amma by his side. Their children became teachers, and their home was filled with laughter, learning, and love. In their old age, they sat beneath the village tree, telling grandchildren how an accident became the start of a love that changed everything. It wasn't just about falling in love, Kwame would say. It was about learning that kindness is the greatest wealth. When they passed peacefully, hand in hand, the village buried them with honor. Their gravestone read, "They gave up everything to gain everything." Today, their school still stands, and every new child learns their story. My besties, I poured my whole heart into writing this story. Every scene, every emotion, every tear. If it touched your soul, please subscribe to my channel and tell me in the comments what was the most beautiful moment for you. Let's grow this family of kind hearts and deep stories. Take care of yourselves. Until next time. They grew up together, dreamed together, and got engaged. But the moment he struggled as a poor mechanic, she left him, humiliated and heartbroken. Years later, the same boy she abandoned now owns half the city. How did it all change? Watch till the end. And don't forget to subscribe for more powerful stories that prove life can turn tables in the most unexpected ways. The rain hammered against the windows of Mama Rose's diner as Marcus wiped his hands on his worn overalls. He had been waiting for 20 minutes, checking his phone every few seconds. When Keisha finally walked through the door, her designer heels clicking against the wet floor, he knew something was wrong. "Marcus, we need to talk," she said, not even sitting down. He stood up, his heart already sinking. "Baby, what's wrong? You look upset." "I can't do this anymore." She pulled off her engagement ring and placed it on the table between them. "I can't marry you." Marcus stared at the ring, his world spinning. "What are you talking about? Our wedding is in 3 weeks." "That's exactly the problem." Keisha's voice was cold, distant. "Look at yourself, Marcus. Look at this place. You work in a garage, your hands are always dirty, and you brought me to a diner for dinner. This place has good food, and you know I'm saving money for our future." "What future?" She laughed bitterly. "My father was right. I'm about to graduate from law school. I have opportunities, real opportunities. And you fix cars." Marcus felt like he'd been punched. "Keisha, I love you. I thought you loved me too." "I did love you, Marcus. But love doesn't pay for the life I want." She picked up her purse. "I'm engaged to someone else. David Wellington. His family owns Wellington Construction. They have government contracts worth millions." "You're already engaged to someone else?" Marcus's voice cracked. "His family is expecting me for dinner tonight. I'm sorry, Marcus, but this is how it has to be." She walked out, leaving him standing there with the ring on the table. Mama Rose, the elderly diner owner, came over with a cup of coffee. "Son, I saw what happened. You want to talk about it?" "She threw away 15 years like it meant nothing," Marcus said, his voice barely a whisper. "Some people chase gold and forget about the treasure they already have," Mama Rose said gently. "But maybe this is God's way of protecting you from the wrong person." Marcus walked back to his small apartment in Oakland, the ring heavy in his pocket. Everything reminded him of Keisha. The pictures on his dresser, the extra toothbrush by the sink, the wedding invitations stacked on his kitchen table. His phone buzzed, a text from his cousin Jerome in Atlanta. "Heard what happened, bro. I've got a job for you here. Good money, fresh start. You interested?" Marcus stared at the message for a long time. He had nothing left in Oakland, no reason to stay. His job at Peterson's auto shop barely paid enough to cover rent, and now everywhere he went, he'd be reminded of his failure. He texted back, "I'm in. When do I start?" 3 days later, Marcus loaded his tools and few belongings into his beat-up Honda and drove south. The 12-hour drive gave him time to think, to hurt, to question everything he thought he knew about love and worth. Atlanta was bigger than he expected, busier, full of possibilities. Jerome had gotten him a job at Elite Motors, a high-end auto shop that specialized in luxury cars. The pay was double what he made in Oakland. "You'll be working on Bentleys, Maseratis, the works," Jerome explained as he showed Marcus around. "Rich folks bring their cars here because we're the best." Marcus threw himself into the work. He arrived early, stayed late, and learned everything he could about luxury vehicles. The work was challenging, and for the first time in weeks, he felt like he was good at something. 6 months passed. Marcus had settled into a routine: work, gym, home, repeat. He had moved into a small apartment near the shop and was slowly building a new life. The pain of losing Keisha was still there, but it had dulled to a manageable ache. It was a Thursday afternoon when everything changed. Marcus was under the hood of a silver Porsche when he heard tires screech outside, followed by a loud crash. He rushed out to see a black BMW had rear-ended a delivery truck. The driver of the BMW was a young black woman, maybe his age, clearly shaken. She was trying to get out of the car but seemed disoriented. "Miss, are you okay?" Marcus ran over to help her. "I think so," she said, her voice trembling. "My head hurts and I can't see clearly." Marcus noticed blood on her forehead. "We need to get you to a hospital. Don't move too much." No hospital," she said quickly. "I can't. My father will find out. He'll use this against me." "Miss, you might have a concussion. This isn't about your father right now." The woman looked at him with eyes that seemed both frightened and grateful. "I'm Zara Johnson." "Marcus. And right now, Zara, I'm taking you to get checked out." He helped her into his car, leaving her damaged BMW at the shop. At the hospital, Marcus stayed with her through the x-rays and tests. The doctor said she had a mild concussion and needed rest. "Thank you," Zara said as they sat in the waiting room. "You didn't have to do all this." "Yes, I did. It's the right thing to do." She studied his face. "You work at that auto shop, don't you? I saw your uniform." "Yeah, Elite Motors. I'm a mechanic." "And you're proud of that work?" Marcus was surprised by the question. "I am. I'm good at what I do." Zara smiled for the first time since the accident. "I can tell. You have honest hands." Over the next few weeks, Zara brought her BMW to Elite Motors for repairs. She always asked for Marcus specifically, and they began to talk while he worked on her car. "You know," she said one afternoon, "I've never met anyone who loves their work the way you do." "What do you mean?" "You talk about engines like they're alive, like they have personalities." Marcus laughed. "I guess they do, in a way. Each car has its own problems, its own story." "What's your story, Marcus?" He paused, wrench in hand. "Why do you want to know?" "Because you saved my life, and I don't even know where you're from." "I'm from Oakland. Came here about 6 months ago for a fresh start." "What happened in Oakland?" Marcus was quiet for a moment. "I was supposed to get married. She decided I wasn't good enough." "Her loss," Zara said simply. "Is it? She's probably living in some mansion right now, married to her rich guy." "Money doesn't make a person good, Marcus. Trust me, I know." There was something in her voice that made him look up. "What do you do for work, Zara?" "I'm between jobs right now, family stuff." Marcus didn't learn the truth about Zara until she brought her car in for the 3rd time. This time, a black SUV followed her into the parking lot, and 2 men in suits got out. "Miss Johnson," one of them called, "your father is looking for you." Zara's face went pale. "Tell him I'm handling business. He wants you home for dinner. The Hendersons are coming over." After the men left, Zara slumped against her car. "I guess you're about to find out who I really am." "I'm listening." "My father is Robert Johnson. He owns Johnson Industries, construction, real estate, government contracts. He's worth about $50 million. Marcus felt his world shift. You're rich. I'm trapped, she corrected. My father controls everything. My bank accounts, my car, my apartment. And he's trying to arrange a marriage between me and Thomas Henderson, whose family owns half the construction companies in Georgia. So why are you telling me this? Because I trust you, and because I'm tired of pretending to be someone I'm not. Marcus set down his tools. Zara, I can't do this again. Do what? Fall for someone who's going to leave me for someone richer, someone better. Marcus, look at me. She stepped closer. I'm not her. I'm not whoever hurt you. I'm here because I want to be, not because I have to be. That night, Zara called Marcus from her apartment. I need your help. What's wrong? My father found out about the accident. He's furious. He's moving up the engagement announcement to next week. Engagement? To Thomas Henderson. Marcus, I can't marry him. He's cruel, and he only wants me for my father's business connections. What do you want me to do? Help me disappear, just for a few days. I need time to think, to figure out how to stand up to my father. Marcus was quiet for a long moment. Where would you go? I don't know. I've never been on my own before. You can stay with me. I have a couch. Marcus, if my father finds out, let me worry about that. The next morning, Zara showed up at Marcus's apartment with a small suitcase. I left a note saying I needed space. I turned off my phone. How long do you think we have? Maybe a day or two before he sends people looking for me. Those 2 days were the most honest conversations Marcus had ever had with anyone. Zara cooked breakfast while he got ready for work. She told him about growing up in a mansion but never feeling at home, about business dinners where she was treated like a prize to be won. I have a master's degree in business, she said, but my father won't let me work in the company. He says my job is to marry well and represent the family. What would you do if you could do anything? I'd open my own business, maybe a consulting firm, help small businesses grow. So why don't you? Because I've never had to survive on my own. I don't know if I can. I think you're stronger than you know. On the third day, Marcus was at work when Jerome ran into the garage. Bro, there are some serious-looking dudes outside asking about you. Marcus looked through the window and saw the same 2 men in suits, plus a third man in an expensive coat. Robert Johnson. Tell them I'll be right out, Marcus said. He walked outside, wiping his hands on his overalls. Robert Johnson was a tall man with silver hair and cold eyes. You're Marcus Williams, Johnson said. It wasn't a question. Yes, sir. Where is my daughter? I don't know what you're talking about. Johnson stepped closer. Boy, do you know who I am? I know who you are, sir. The question is, do you know who your daughter is? Johnson's face hardened. Excuse me? Do you know that she's brilliant? That she has ideas that could make your company twice as successful? Do you know that she cries herself to sleep because she feels like a prisoner in her own life? You have no right. I have every right to speak up for someone I care about. At that moment, Zara's BMW pulled into the parking lot. She got out, her face determined. Daddy, stop. Zara, get in the car, now. No. She walked over to stand beside Marcus. I'm not going anywhere until you listen to me. Zara, this is ridiculous, Johnson said. You're embarrassing the family. I'm embarrassing the family? You're the one who showed up at my friend's workplace with bodyguards. This man is not your friend. He's a mechanic who's trying to take advantage of you. Take advantage of me? Zara laughed. Daddy, he's the first person who's ever treated me like I have a brain. He listens to my ideas. He believes I can do things on my own. You don't need to do things on your own. You have everything you need. I need respect. I need freedom. I need to be able to choose my own life. Johnson turned to Marcus. How much? Sir, how much money do you want to disappear? Marcus felt anger rising in his chest. I don't want your money. Everyone wants money. Name your price. I want your daughter to be happy. That's all I've ever wanted. Johnson stared at him. You're serious? Dead serious. Zara stepped forward. Daddy, I'm not marrying Thomas Henderson. I'm not marrying anyone you choose for me. If you can't accept that, then I'll leave and make my own way. With what money? You have no job, no experience. I have my education. I have my intelligence. And I have people who believe in me. She looked at Marcus. If you'll have me. Marcus felt his heart pounding. Always. 6 months later, Marcus stood in front of the mirror in his new apartment, adjusting his tie. Today was the grand opening of Johnson Williams Consulting, the business he and Zara had started together. After the confrontation at the auto shop, Robert Johnson had been furious. He cut off Zara's access to her trust fund and threatened to disown her. But Zara had surprised everyone, including herself. She got a job at a small marketing firm, lived in Marcus's apartment, and slowly proved she could survive on her own. The breakthrough came when she presented her father with a business plan for expanding Johnson Industries into new markets. Her ideas were so good that he couldn't ignore them. You did this yourself? He had asked. I had help from someone who believes in me, she replied, looking at Marcus. Now, 3 months later, Robert Johnson was not only speaking to his daughter again, but had agreed to be the first investor in her consulting business. You ready for this? Marcus asked as they stood outside their new office. I'm terrified, Zara admitted, but I'm ready. The opening was a success. Local business owners came to learn about their services, and by the end of the day, they had signed 3 new clients. As they locked up the office, Zara turned to Marcus. I need to tell you something. What? I love you. Not because you saved me, not because you believed in me, but because you see me. The real me. Marcus smiled. I love you too. All of you. Even the stubborn parts? Especially the stubborn parts. Keisha stood by the giant window, staring out at the empty garden. Rain tapped gently on the glass. Her phone buzzed again. Another article about Marcus and Zara's new office opening. She threw the phone on the bed. David? She called out. Her husband didn't answer. He was already asleep in the next room. Separate bedrooms, separate lives. She walked to her closet, full of designer gowns she hadn't worn in months. I used to dream of this, she whispered to herself, touching the silk sleeve of a gold evening dress. But it all felt cold. No laughter, no music, no Marcus. A tear slipped down her cheek. She remembered the diner, the ring, the look on Marcus's face when she walked away. Her hand trembled as she opened her phone again and typed a message. Hi, Marcus. I saw the article. I'm proud of you. Maybe we could catch up sometime? She stared at the screen. Delivered. Not read. Then slowly the message disappeared. Message deleted by recipient. Her hands dropped to her sides. The silence grew louder. She had everything money could buy, but she had nothing real. And this time, no one was coming to fix it. 1 year later, Marcus and Zara stood on the beach in Savannah, watching the sunset. The consulting business was thriving, and Marcus had opened his own luxury auto repair shop. They had built something together, something that belonged to both of them. I got a text from Keisha today, Marcus said quietly. Zara looked at him. What did she want? She heard about the business. She wanted to reconnect. What did you tell her? Nothing. I deleted the message. Good choice. Marcus pulled out a small velvet box. I have something for you. Zara's eyes widened. Marcus. I know we said we'd take things slow, but I can't imagine my life without you. You make me better. You make me want to be the best version of myself. He got down on one knee. Zara Johnson, will you marry me? She knelt down beside him, tears in her eyes. Yes, but only if you promise me something. Anything. Promise me we'll always be partners. In everything. I promise. As they kissed, Marcus thought about how different his life was now. A year ago, he was broken, convinced that love was about what you could provide, not who you were. Now he knew better. Love was about seeing someone completely and choosing to stay. It was about building something together, brick by brick, dream by dream. "What are you thinking about?" Zara asked. "How sometimes the worst thing that happens to you turns out to be the best thing." "You mean Keisha leaving?" "I mean learning that I was worth more than I thought I was. That we both were." She smiled. "Come on, let's go home." "Home," Marcus repeated, liking the sound of it. They walked back to their car, hand in hand, ready for whatever came next. They had learned that love wasn't about being perfect for each other. It was about being real with each other. And that was more valuable than all the money in the world. My besties, do you believe in second chances? If yes, hit that subscribe button. If you've ever experienced a moment that felt like a miracle, big or small, write it below. Or simply type, "God, I still believe in miracles." Let's fill the comments with hope. Take care until next time. Jasmine hadn't eaten in 3 days. Darius had everything: money, love, a perfect life. But in one night, everything changed for both of them. Let's dive into how it all began. The early morning mist hung over Kigali like a soft blanket. Jasmine walked slowly through the wealthy Nyarutarama district, her old broom scraping against the clean streets. Her worn shoes made quiet sounds on the pavement as she collected trash from the fancy houses. She stopped at a large garbage bin outside a beautiful white house. The morning sun was just beginning to shine through the fog. Jasmine opened the bin and started sorting through the waste. Rich people threw away so much food. "These banana peels are still good," she whispered to herself. "My children can eat them." As she reached deeper into the bin, her fingers touched something smooth. She pulled out a crumpled piece of paper. It was golden yellow and had numbers printed on it. Her heart started beating faster. "A lottery ticket?" she said quietly. Jasmine looked around to make sure no one was watching. She carefully unfolded the paper. The numbers were clear: 7, 14, 21, 28, 35, 42. At the bottom, it said, "Grand prize, 50 million Rwandan francs." Her hands began to shake. 50 million francs. She could buy a house, send her children to school, maybe even start a small business. For the first time in years, Jasmine smiled with real hope. "Excuse me, miss!" a man's voice called out behind her. Jasmine quickly hid the ticket in her apron pocket and turned around. A tall man in an expensive suit was running toward her. His face looked worried and desperate. "What do you want?" Jasmine asked, stepping back. The man stopped in front of her, breathing heavily. "I saw you at that garbage bin. Did you find anything there?" "I don't know what you're talking about," Jasmine said carefully. "Please, I'm begging you. I threw away a lottery ticket by mistake. It was in a small envelope with some papers. Did you see it?" Jasmine's heart pounded. She looked at the man's expensive clothes and shiny shoes. He was clearly very rich already. "Why should I believe you?" "Because I'm telling the truth," the man said desperately. "My name is Darius. I live in that house right there. I was cleaning my desk and threw away the wrong papers." "Even if I found something, why would I give it to you?" Jasmine asked. "Rich people have everything already." Darius looked at her with sad eyes. "You're right. I do have money. But that ticket? It's worth 50 million francs. I can pay you for it." "How much?" Jasmine asked. 50,000 francs. That's more money than most people make in a year." Jasmine thought about her children at home. They needed new clothes and shoes. 50,000 francs would help, but 50 million would change their lives forever. "I want to see the money first," she said. "Come with me to my house. I'll get it for you right now." Jasmine looked at Darius's honest face. Something told her she could trust him. "Okay, but no tricks." "No tricks," Darius promised. "Just follow me." Darius's house was even more beautiful inside than outside. Jasmine had never seen such expensive furniture and decorations. The floors were so clean, they reflected the ceiling lights. "Please sit down," Darius said, pointing to a leather chair. "I'll get your money from upstairs." Jasmine sat down carefully, afraid to touch anything. She could hear Darius's footsteps walking up the stairs. Then she heard other voices coming from above. "When will you tell him?" a woman's voice asked. "Soon," a man replied. "Darius is too stupid to figure it out himself." The woman laughed. "Poor Darius. He works so hard at his coffee business while we have fun together." Jasmine's eyes widened. She realized she was hearing Darius's wife talking to another man. Her heart felt sad for Darius. Suddenly, there was a loud crash from upstairs. Then shouting. "What are you doing in my bedroom?" Darius's voice was full of anger and pain. "Darius, I can explain," the woman said. "Explain what? That you're sleeping with my business partner? That you've been lying to me?" "It's not what you think," the other man said. "Get out! Both of you get out of my house." Jasmine heard footsteps running down the stairs. A beautiful woman in a silk nightgown ran past her, followed by a man in a business suit. They didn't even look at Jasmine as they rushed out the front door. Darius came down the stairs slowly. His face was red and tears were in his eyes. He looked at Jasmine and shook his head. "I'm sorry you had to hear that," he said quietly. "My wife, my marriage, everything is destroyed." Jasmine felt sorry for him. "I'm sorry too." Darius sat down on his expensive sofa and put his head in his hands. His whole body was shaking. Jasmine didn't know what to do, so she just sat quietly and waited. 20 years, Darius said without looking up. 20 years I've been married to Zara. I built my coffee business for her. I bought this house for her. I gave her everything. "I'm sorry," Jasmine said softly. "And Bosco. He was my best friend. We started the business together. I trusted him with my money, my secrets, my life." Darius finally looked up at Jasmine. His eyes were red from crying. "Do you know what the worst part is?" "What?" "I still love her. Even after seeing her with him, I still love her." Jasmine reached into her apron pocket and pulled out the lottery ticket. She held it out to Darius. "Here, take your ticket back." "What?" "No, I promise to pay you. Keep your money. You need it more than I do right now." Darius stared at the ticket in her hands. 50 million francs, you know what? Money can't fix a broken heart. Money can't bring back trust. Money can't make someone love you. "That's true," Jasmine said, "but money can help you start over." "You're a wise woman," Darius said. "What's your name?" "Jasmine." "Jasmine, you could have kept this ticket and become rich. Why are you giving it back to me?" "Because it's not mine. My grandmother taught me that stolen happiness never lasts." Darius smiled for the first time. "Your grandmother sounds like a smart woman." The front door slammed open. Zara walked in wearing a beautiful dress and carrying a folder. Her face was cold and angry. "Darius, we need to talk," she said, then noticed Jasmine sitting there. "Who is this woman? Why is there a street cleaner in our house?" "Her name is Jasmine," Darius said, standing up. "And she's my guest." Zara looked at Jasmine with disgust. "Get out! This is family business." "I should go," Jasmine said, starting to stand. "No, stay," Darius said firmly. "Whatever you have to say, Zara, you can say it in front of her." Zara threw the folder on the coffee table. "Fine. Those are divorce papers. I want you to sign them." Darius picked up the folder and looked through the papers. You want half of everything, the house, the business, even my savings account. I'm entitled to half. I was your wife for 20 years. You were sleeping with my business partner for how long? Darius asked. That's not important now. It's very important to me. Darius's voice got louder. How long, Zara? Zara looked away. 2 years. 2 years! Darius threw the papers back on the table. 2 years you've been lying to me. 2 years you've been stealing from me. And now you want half of everything? I fell in love with Bosco. These things happen. Love? Darius laughed bitterly. You don't know what love is. Love is faithful. Love is honest. Love doesn't betray. Just sign the papers, Darius. Make this easy for both of us. And if I don't sign, then I'll take you to court. I'll get half anyway, plus lawyer fees. Jasmine watched this conversation with growing anger. She had never seen anyone so cold and greedy. I need time to think, Darius said finally. You have 1 week, Zara said. Then I'm filing the papers whether you sign or not. She walked toward the door, then turned back. And get that woman out of my house. It's not your house anymore, Darius said quietly. After Zara left, Darius and Jasmine sat in silence for a long time. Finally, Darius spoke. She doesn't deserve half of my money. You're right, Jasmine agreed. But what can you do? Darius looked at the lottery ticket still in Jasmine's hand. I have an idea, but I need your help. What kind of help? I want you to claim the lottery prize for me. Jasmine's eyes widened. What? Why? Because if I claim it myself, Zara will find out. She'll demand half of the 50 million francs in the divorce. But that's... Jasmine thought about it. That's a lot of money to trust someone with. I know, but I trust you. You already gave the ticket back to me once. What would I get out of it? 20%, 10 million francs. Jasmine couldn't believe what she was hearing. 10 million francs was more money than she could spend in 3 lifetimes. There's one problem, she said slowly. What if the government asks questions? What if they want to know where I got the ticket? We'll say I gave it to you as a gift. Rich people give gifts to their servants all the time. I'm not your servant. I know. I'm sorry. I meant... We'll say you work for me, cleaning my house or something. Jasmine thought about her children at home. They needed food, clothes, school fees. 10 million francs would solve all their problems forever. What about you? She asked. If I claim the money, how will you get your share? I'll disappear for a while, live like a poor man. When Zara thinks I have nothing, she'll give me the divorce without asking for anything. That's a dangerous plan. What if something goes wrong? Then I'll lose everything anyway. At least this way, I have a chance. Jasmine looked at Darius's honest face. She thought about her grandmother's words about helping others in need. Okay, she said finally. I'll help you. 3 days later, Jasmine stood in the Rwanda National Lottery office in downtown